I love the story of Burke and Hare. Obviously, it's problematic and criminal, but something that I really thoroughly enjoy studying and will always love watching films, reading books about Burke and Hare. Without question, the 2010 film Burke and Hare is my favourite of all of the Burke and Hare story adaptations I've seen. This one was directed by John Landis, written by Nick Moorcroft and Piers Ashworth, and stars the fabulous Simon Pegg and Andy Serkis, as well as Isla Fisher, Tom Wilkinson, Jessica Hynes, Tim Curry, Christopher Lee, Ronnie Corbett. It's got an absolutely brilliant cast. Really love the casting for this, and obviously the quality of the acting is reflected in that. Bill Bailey is in it as well. But obviously, ultimately, the narrative is what drew me into this, and of course, this is about Burke and Hare, who, if you don't know anything about Burke and Hare, they were two 19th century grave robbers. They used to rob cadavers, corpses from graves, and sell them to a medical school in Edinburgh. And me being Scottish, I love anything set in Edinburgh. That will always make me happy. But I just love the concept. Obviously, it's terrible, but from a narration perspective, it's so fascinating. You can kind of see the cogs going in their mind when they're getting these ideas to rob the graves, and you know, there's a little bit of tension. Are they going to get caught? What's going to happen? And obviously, there's never a shortage of bodies, particularly, you know, in the 19th century, when, ironically, medical care wasn't that good. But it's also quite questionable. You know, they're robbing these bodies, they're selling them to the medical school, but then those bodies are being used to improve medicine and by default, improve the quality of healthcare and medical care. It's morally questionable, but also, you know, you could side with them, and you can see that although their intentions are not in the right places, the actions may not be the worst. You know, it's brilliant. I love the atmosphere. I think it's very well directed. The locations are brilliant. The acting's obviously great. The casting works really well. Now, in my head, I don't really have a picture of Burke and Hare. You know, I never really have any expectations of what I think they should look like. You know, it's not like Abraham Lincoln. I don't know why that was the first historical reference that came into my head. But if somebody's interpreting Lincoln, you know what to expect. With Burke and Hare, I've never got any expectations, but I do think that the casting worked very well regardless. I don't know how 100% historically accurate this is. I don't know if they took some liberties. If it's something that you know, if you know a lot about, because while I love this kind of time of history, I'm not the most knowledgeable about Burke and Hare. I still have room for knowledge improvement. If you know of any historical inaccuracies in this, please feel free to let me know. But from a purely entertainment perspective, I love it. It's a beautiful black comedy. It's not for the faint of heart. You know, it's quite dark in places, and there are hangings, and you know, it's the 19th century, and they're committing a crime, and there are dead bodies. It's pretty much what one would expect. It's brilliant. It is quite funny. For me personally, it's a fun portrayal of Burke and Hare. It will make you question a lot. Sometimes side with them, sometimes not. I really love it and thoroughly recommend it to everybody.